set up. You ready to go?
Yep, I'm ready to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are doing our Oscars discussion today. I am Astrid Aphid, and I am joined by my co-host.
This is Retconned.
How's it going today, Retconned?
Oh, it's going all right. I mean, it's been just a normal day of work. Actually did a roll on Final Fantasy Record Keeper today and got an awakening for Sora, so I guess that'll be something that'll be seen in pushing content. But outside of that, nothing too exciting.
Cool, cool.
How about yourself?
I've just been doing video editing myself, so nothing too interesting to talk about. And I watched the Spider-Man animated Spider-Verse movie, Into the Spider-Verse, last night in preparation for this podcast.
Okay, well that's good because I did not, but I did watch Green Book.
My thoughts exactly. We'll each cover a different base that we never would have normally planned to. But
Cool.
yeah, let's go ahead and just jump into the discussion. The very first one that we have set up is the Best Picture nominees. So the Best Picture nominees were A Star Is Born. I guess I'm gonna read them from the Google Doc. I guess that might be a little bit
Yeah,
better.
because I have a different order.
Yeah. So from the Google Doc, Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, Roma, A Star Is Born, and Vice. Out of all of these, have you seen any of these particular movies?
Only Black Panther and now Green Book. And I watched the trailer for Roma. It actually looks interesting. I'm not sure if it's my type of movie. And I still want to see Bohemian Rhapsody.
Okay.
Okay.
I
How
was
about
gonna,
yourself?
yeah. I watched Black Panther. I watched Bohemian Rhapsody, and that's about it. I haven't seen any of these other movies, and to be honest, I hadn't really heard of them either.
Yeah, outside of yesterday, I hadn't heard of Black Klansman, The Favorite, A Star is Born, or Vice. And the only one that I've really looked into, well, and Green Book as well. But the only one I know anything about now is Black Klansman because, with that name, I
Okay, well,
was definitely.
can you tell me anything about it?
It's about a detective who goes undercover and infiltrates a chapter of the Ku Klux Klan, and he is an African American. So
Oh, interesting. So does he actually like wear the
whiteface.
no, I was gonna say the appropriate attire? Is that how he goes undercover?
I presume I didn't read that much into it. I didn't want to spoil it for myself because I do want to watch it.
Okay, yeah. I wasn't thinking whiteface. I was definitely just thinking he did the Dave Chappelle skit, basically.
Yeah, I honestly have no idea if he does either. But I mean, I assume he has to do the hood because how else are you going to infiltrate?
My thoughts exactly, yeah. I've seen Black Panther, you've seen Black Panther. It's, of course, in the Marvel Universe for the wheelhouse of superhero films that lead up to the Avengers series.
Yes.
Um, it's a solid film. It's better than a lot of the other movies in the same universe. I'd give it a solid like 7 out of 10. None of them are perfect films, but it definitely tops the charts.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised to see it among the nominees.
Yeah. I don't honestly. I don't know what went on this year. There's so many films I don't know anything about. I saw Bohemian Rhapsody, and to be honest, it's a good film, but I'm kind of amazed at how much people fall in love with it. Um, same thing. I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10. Like it's a good film. It's not bad. It does a lot of things good, but I'm kind of blown away at how Oscar worthy it is. I guess. Um, I thought the hype was huge for the movie, and um, they really just covered a small niche part in the life of Freddie Mercury, and They definitely centered it around the band and the song Bohemian Rhapsody as a whole. So if you were looking for a little bit more information about Queen, if you were looking for something that really dived into them more as a band, you didn't find it in that movie. But that's just my opinion, at least. And like I said, I can't really say anything else about any of these other movies. I don't know anything else about them. Can you tell me what Green Book is about?
I am not sure if I'm gonna be able to. Everything is disconnecting. I have no idea why I'm still on Discord. I mean, I guess I can just keep talking until it disconnects me, or I guess everything reconnects. But it's about a black musician who is touring the 1960s South, and of course, Jim Crow laws are in effect. And his Italian driver Tony, who is
All right. Well, I guess that was him disconnecting. Not sure what to say there. Guess I'm gonna go ahead and pause my recording.
he's like I said, not very bright, and he's driving around Doc Don Shirley, who is a pianist who is just touring the South during the height of Jim Crow, and it, basically, the clash between them as far as cultures, and uh, Tony learning to accept African American.
Huh. Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess I've seen the trailer for it, maybe. I do recall a pianist traveling around in a car and there being, like, a very tense moment about him being in the South. So I guess I've seen the commercial and just didn't place the movie with the name.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty good. I mean it's no Country for Old Men, but I mean I enjoyed the movie, and there are definitely scenes in there that are good. I mean I don't want to spoil anything, and I definitely found it funny. And if you want to see Aragon as an Italian,
Oh, yeah?
yeah,
Aragon from Lord of the Rings, is that who you're talking about?
that is exactly who I'm talking about.
Oh, that's interesting.
Gilmore or Mortensen.
I want to say I saw him on the list of nominees, and it made me question what other movies he had been in since the Lord of the Rings.
This one,
Yeah, I wonder if that's literally the only one. But
I
yeah,
mean,
that's the only thing I really know him from. Yeah, that's what he's famous for in my mind, at least.
okay, I just realized something. I'm gonna fix it real quick. I did not have headphones in, so my mic was probably picking up my speakers this entire time.
All right. Well, I'm glad that's resolved now.
Uh,
Um, so do you know anything about Roma?
I only watched the trailer. It just seems to be a film about a year in the life of a Mexican family, and I don't know if, or I wasn't sure if they were Mexican American or actually from Mexico. Um,
Yeah, I was gonna say from the IMDb page, it really doesn't say much. It basically says what you said: a middle class made in Mexico City during the early 1970s. So, not really sure what that movie's about.
yeah, I mean, I assume it's just. I mean, it said it was a year of their life. I assume it's
Yeah,
just a slice of life.
that's interesting. Let's see. Another film was A Star Is Born that had Bradley Cooper in it. A musician helps a young singer find fame, even as age and alcoholism sends his own career into a downward spiral.
Ah, so it's one of those hypocrite films.
Oh, I mean, that's very country of him. Our one viewer is asking whether or not we have seen The Favorite. Have not
I
seen
have
The Favorite.
no. It is evidently. I mean, it looks interesting. I'm looking at the IMDb page right now.
You want to tell me about it?
In early 18th century England, a frail Queen Anne occupies the throne, and her close friend, Lady Sarah, governs the country in her stead. When a new servant, Abigail, arrives, her charm endears her to Sarah. Oh, that sounds exciting.
Yeah, it's very different. A little bit of a historical piece.
Yes.
And I think last but not least was Vice, the story of Dick Cheney, an unassuming bureaucratic Washington insider who quietly wielded immense power as vice president to George W. Bush, reshaping the country and the globe in ways we still feel today. What a IMDb description. I believe that's where he shoots someone while he's hunting, right? I think that's the infamous movie.
I didn't realize that they made a movie about that, and that's what it covered.
Well, it's not about that. It occurs in
It
that
covered the
film.
event, him
Yeah.
shooting his lawyer in the face.
Yeah. But that's interesting. Vice. Wonder wonder who played Dick Cheney.
Was Christian Bell?
Yep, it was Christian Bale. What a world.
Okay, yeah, I definitely remember seeing the images of that transformation.
But yeah, so those are our 8 nominees. Do you know who actually won?
Yeah, it was Green Book because I'm a scrub and only watch the winners.
Well, that's probably the only ones that matter in the eyes of everyone else. Why watch the losers? Um, but yeah, you're saying Green Book was good?
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it.
All right, well, that's a solid recommendation. I guess we can go ahead and move on to our next one. And our next one is directors. We have a bunch of names that I'm going to butcher. We have Alfonso Cuarón from Roma, Yorgos Lanthimos from The Favorite, Spike Lee from Black Klansman, Adam McKay from Vice, Paweł Pawlowski from Cold War. Do you know anything about any of these directors?
I mean, I know about Spike Lee, and that's pretty much it.
What has Spike Lee done? Tell us about Spike.
I mean, I know of Spike Lee. I can't tell you too much about what he has done. Um, Let us check his IMDb page.
Yeah, that was really just
Like,
a tip for you to do that.
known for Malcolm X, She's Gotta Have It, Do the Right Thing.
Well, he's
I've
known
seen,
for Malcolm X, so that kind of says
yeah.
everything.
I Man, I figured he directed more stuff, like something that I'd actually seen.
Um,
I guess I need to see Malcolm X.
I mean, it's a good movie. It's a classic. I would recommend it. I'm looking at Alfonso Cuarón in terms of things that he's directed that people would recognize. He directed Gravity, directed Children of Men, and he directed Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So,
Oh, dang.
yeah, he's actually got some pretty fresh movies on his list of things he's directed. So, props to him.
So I'm looking at Powell Pawlikowski.
Yep, let's keep on butchering those names.
Uh, it looks like he is known for Cold War, Ida, My Summer of Love, and Last Resort, which I've not seen or heard of any of those before. See anything else on this? Nope. He is definitely has not been. I don't know.
Well,
Prolific in things I've seen.
that's okay. You can't win them all. He's a nominee, so he's finally getting recognized. I'm looking at Yorgos Lanthimos. Maybe I'll just say his name differently every time I read it. Most notably, the thing that I recognize is The Lobster and he also made Dogtooth. The Lobster is a great and very weird film in which the character goes to a hospital, and if he can't find someone to like pair up with and mate with, then he agrees he'll be turned into a lobster.
Oh, I think you told me about this before. I think it was you who's told me about it.
Probably. It's a very
Okay.
odd premises for a film, and you get to pick whatever animal you're turned into. And he actually has some very intelligent reasons for picking a lobster.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's what I remember him from. I don't remember what Dogtooth is about, but Dogtooth is also one of his films. I think Dogtooth is about isolated teenagers. But who do we have left? We've got Adam McKay. Can you tell me anything about Adam McKay?
I cannot, as
Well,
I have lost the ability to read.
I can furiously type away.
All right, no, he's known for The Other Guys. Oh wow, actually, yeah. So he's known for Ant-Man. Oh, he was a writer. He wrote Ant-Man. He wrote The Big Short. He was a producer on Vice and The Other Guys as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at his director. The most notable thing you would know him from is from Anchorman. He directed Anchorman. Um,
What?
he also did Step Brothers.
Okay, man, I'm wondering why he's known as the producer on Vice when he got the nomination for being its director. It's like, what are you doing, IMDb?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know how that stuff is ranked. Um, it might just be by popularity, but I don't know why he has the producer title instead of the other title. But yeah, those are our director nominees. Do you know who won?
I do know who won. It would be Alfonso Cuarón.
All right, well, good for him. As a side note, my personal picks for Best Picture, regardless of whatever the rules are for the Academy, would have been Annihilation, and my personal pick for director would have been Christian Rivers from Mortal Engines.
My pick for Best Picture is going to be the Sonic the Hedgehog movie or Trolls 2. I haven't decided which.
I don't think
Not,
the Sonic movie hasn't came out yet.
neither has Trolls 2.
Well, Trolls 2, I guess, has spiritual successors, people who claim that they're making Trolls 2 a bunch. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to our actors. Oh, we got a lot of name brand actors here. I pretty much recognize everyone. Um, Starting off, we've got Bradley Cooper from A Star Is Born, William Dafoe from At Eternity. What is that? At Eternity's Gate.
Yes.
Yeah, William Dafoe at Eternity's Gate. Rami Malek from Bohemian Rhapsody. Viggo Mortensen from Green Book, and Christian Bale from Vice.
I don't
Um,
really recognize any of these actors except for Rami Malek and Viggo Mortensen, of course, Aragon. But Bradley Cooper, William Defoe, and Christian Bell, never heard of them.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not.
Well, considering that I called Christian Bell as playing Cheney on Vice, I'm going to assume that I'm making a goof.
Okay. I was gonna say William Dafoe fucking has been so many great actors in tons of films, and I loved him in Spider Man when he was the Green Goblin. Rami, I really feel like just does wonders on the TV show Mr. Robot. I could kind of care less about what he did in Bohemian Rhapsody, but I'm not like a huge fan of that movie, unlike the Academy.
I haven't gotten to see it yet, so.
Um,
But as far as the transformation went, I mean, he definitely seemed Oh my gosh, Freddie Mercury esque.
Once he gets just the mustache, he nails it. I don't know about the before, but yeah. I was kind of complimenting Calabash earlier. He kind of also nails the mustache. But yeah. You know anything else about these actors? Anything else you want to discuss about Christian Bale or Vigo?
I mean, we kind of discussed my bit about Vigo already. Just the fact that we really haven't seen him in much else outside of this.
Well,
Um, I,
he's probably making all those kickbacks just from Lord of the Rings. He's set for
yeah,
life. Christian Bale is, of course, famous for being in the Batman movies. A bunch of other stuff as well.
yes. Doesn't Bradley Cooper do Rocket Raccoon?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I think he does the voice for him.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of comedy movies that I definitely
Yep.
enjoy him in. I just can't name any off the top of my head.
But
Outside of Hangover, but I mean, I didn't want to be so lowbrow.
yeah. But I know who won strictly because it was all over Reddit, and they were posting pictures of his issues with his bow tie. So Rami Malek
Yeah, yeah.
won. He had a bow tie on, and there's like 5 or 6 pictures of different people trying to help him straighten it out, and he wins the Best Actor award for the Oscar. And he gets up on stage, and that bow tie is just so freaking crooked. A lot of people pointed out that it might have been like a clever trickster thing, just to make all those people, go up and try to straighten it. I
I
think
really
it's
hope
just
that's.
I think it's just one of those things that it's just like even the best people in the world, they screw up sometimes, and it doesn't matter how many people try to help you, just things go awry.
It was the cinema fairies, just
Yeah,
moving his tie
I
constantly.
mean they
Like playing tricks on the actors at the Oscars.
it was a solid like 30 degrees. Like that stuff was not straight. It was something else.
Yeah, I saw
Um,
the images. That was, oh man, I wish I had watched them just to see that, but
yeah,
it's a pony show.
but congratulations to him. He deserves it. Next up is our best actress. Here's a bunch of people that I don't know about, and
I
I'm
wait. I recognize the second to last one. I thought Melissa McCarthy. No, no, that's somebody else. Never mind.
um. So we have Yalitis Aparico from Roma.
Yalitza? Is that?
Sure, Yalitza. We'll call it Yalitza. Someone can hate on us later. And then we have Glenn Close from The Wife, who's what is she like 90? Um, bless her heart. Then we have Olivia Colman from The Favorite, and for some reason, and this is not a troll, Lady Gaga from A Star Is Born is on this list. And then I thought I had a fucking aneurysm because Melissa McCarthy from Can You Ever Forgive Me was also on this list. Um,
What is Can You Ever Forgive Me?
uh, I just from the poster, um, I don't know. It looks like she did like a serious role in which she's like a woman in like the 70s or something. I'll have to look it up. But um the poster is just odd. Let's see. When Israel falls out of step with current taste, she turns her art form to deception. Um I don't know what that film's about. But yeah, that didn't really help me, IMDb. Um she is in the 1970s. Um Lee is no longer able to get published because she's fallen out of step with current taste. She turns her art form to deception. Um relays a true story of a best-selling celebrity biographer. I don't know. She did some serious film where, it looks like she's in the 1970s. She looks like she's an older kind of woman, with this hideous haircut. And I guess she redeemed herself for Ghostbusters. I was thrown away when I saw her name. I mean, before it was Lady Gaga, and like I said, I was just like, is this a fucking troll? Like, did I copy the wrong list? What's going on here? We got Lady Gaga and Melissa McCarthy as, Best Actress nominees. What's going on?
Right. So I'm looking at this A Star Is Born, and is is this a remake of the 1954 Judy Garland A Star Is Born?
How about the one with Bradley Cooper?
Yes,
Have,
the one that was directed by Bradley Cooper.
yeah, I have no idea. I don't know if that's a remake or not.
Definitely seems like it. The genres match up and the descriptions match up. A film star helps a young singer and actress find fame, even as age and alcoholism send his own career on a downward spiral. A musician helps a young singer find fame, even as age and alcoholism send his own career into a spiral. It's the same.
Yeah, it's the same
description.
Yeah.
Oh,
Copy and paste. Add Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper.
it's. I needed a good laugh.
But I haven't seen Roma. I haven't seen The Wife. I haven't seen The Favorite. I haven't seen A Star Is Born. And I'm sorry, but Melissa McCarthy is not going to get me to watch Can You Ever Forgive Me? So, I know nothing about these movies, and I know nothing about these actresses, besides the fact that, Glenn is old, Lady Gaga is not an actress, and Melissa McCarthy was terrible in Ghostbusters. Do you have anything?
I mean, Glenn Close is Nova Prime.
Who is Nova Prime?
Like the commander of the Nova Force in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Oh, yeah, she is, isn't she?
Yep.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I got nothing.
All right. Well, Olivia Colman from The Favorite won Best Actress. My personal nomination, regardless of whatever the rulings are, would have been Natalie Portman from Annihilation. And I can't believe I'm recommending Natalie Portman as Best Actress. But she's grown and developed a lot of, acting skills since fucking Star Wars.
So, what is Annihilation?
Annihilation is a movie where a group of females basically go in to an area where I'm trying to think, like, a phenomenon is happening, and everybody that they send in there does not come out. They never hear back, so it's kind of just like a death sentence. So yeah, that's the basic plot of the film, is that you're seeing a group of women basically saying, fuck it, I'm going to go into this phenomenon, knowing that I probably won't come out and I'm probably going to die in there.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's a very artsy fartsy film, but oh my god, is it crazy and awesome. Um, but yeah, highly recommend it.
I'm gonna go with Judy Garland in A Star Is Born from 1954, just so I can row something there on the pod.
Okay. Let's go ahead and move on to our actor and supporting role.
Can you guess I didn't watch a lot of movies this year? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. Especially after looking at this list, I'm just like, what? Who are these people?
yeah.
But actors in supporting roles, we have Mahershala Ali from Green Book, Adam Driver from Black Klansman, Sam Elliott from A Star Is Born, Richard E. Grant from Can You Ever Forgive Me, and Sam Rockwell from Vice.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
So I haven't seen any of these
Was
movies.
whoa, was Kylo Ren in blackface?
No. Why would you think that?
Because this is actor in a supporting role. Whew. Oh gosh, I was really worried there for a moment. I thought it was best actor, and I was like, wait, what? I
I mean, either
I
way,
am
why
so
would
happy.
you assume he was in blackface? He would obviously just be a white supremacist wearing a hood.
Right, but best actor is like the actor that in a lead role. So he would have had to have been in the lead role. So he would have had to, and I know the lead role was displayed as a black man. So if
Okay.
he's a black man, then the obvious conclusion would be that he would be in blackface for that movie. And I was like, oh my god. And then I realized,
No,
oh, actor
no.
in supporting role, I'm an idiot.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Moving
yeah,
on.
Adam Driver's Kylo Ren.
Yeah, sure. Adam Driver was Kylo Ren at one point in time. Um, I think
Mahir,
he's also in the Don Quixote movie. Um, Sam Rockwell has been in a bunch of good stuff, most infamously Moon, which is a great sci-fi film about getting stuck on the moon.
he's the typecast grumpy old man nowadays.
Um,
Or no, not Sam Rockwell, Sam Elliott, right?
yeah, I was gonna say I think you're mixing two up, but
Yeah, I am.
and then I know nothing about Richard E. Grant. Know anything about Richard Grant?
I don't know him from Adam. Let's find out with Google.
He's known for movies that I've never seen. So good for him. He's gonna be in the new Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I saw that. But he played a character in a series of unfortunate events.
Everybody and their
He
mother is
played in
gonna be in Star Wars.
he played in a few episodes of Game of Thrones.
I was talking about the other day. Bill Hader is apparently the voice of BB-8, the robot, in one of the Star
Right.
Wars films, and he talks about how he did like months and months of recording. They just couldn't get it right, and it ended up being him just like talking over a voice box and then like tweaking it with like an MDI board. And he did like 1 hour's worth of work, and now he's like creeped out because his voice is like everywhere. And it's just that 1 hour's worth of work.
Right.
But yeah, I hadn't seen any of those movies. I don't know anything about these guys except for previous movies they've been in.
Well,
But
I mean,
yeah,
wouldn't that be why you would know them?
yeah. I just mean I don't know what they did in the current films that they're
Oh,
getting
okay.
the best supporting role for. Um,
Well, Mahir Shahala Ali played the musician in Green Book,
okay,
and he was really good in that, and he won Best Actor in Supporting Role. So he was definitely well reserved or deserved.
well there you go. I myself, in a joking-esque manner, recommended Paul Rudd from Ant-Man and Wasp as Best Actor in Supporting Role because he does not own that film. His female co-star does.
Oh man, that is Pow right in the kisser.
I mean, I don't think anybody goes to that film to see Paul Rudd. But we'll move on to actress in supporting role. And just like before, it's a bunch of movies I haven't seen, a bunch of people I've hardly ever heard of. We've got
Yeah.
Amy Adams from Vice, Marina di Tavira from Roma, Regina King from If. Oh, did I butcher that? If. Was it Beale Street Could Talk, or is it Beale Street? Might have butchered that name.
It
Um,
wasn't actually.
and there's Emma Stone from The Favorite and Rachel Wise's from The Favorite.
I would guess that is Weiss, but I could be completely wrong.
I don't know. Call her Weiss. You can send me a complaint at my email.
Wait,
No, it's
wait.
If Beale Street Could Talk. So that's a movie apparently.
So,
Um, Go ahead.
do you know who Rachel Weisz is?
Nope.
I don't know. I really
Oh wait,
either, but she
she's
played Evelyn.
from The Mummy, right?
Yeah, she played Evelyn in The Mummy.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, now that I'm looking at her picture. Um, yeah, it's a shame she didn't get much credit for The Mummy. Then she dropped out of it, and then they replaced her. Then Brandon Fraser dropped out of it, and now he's in Doom Patrol. 20 years
Speaking of
later.
speaking of which, oh man, I really enjoyed that episode.
Oh, me too. I was kind of disappointed that there was only one episode. I was like,
Yeah,
that's a solid fucking pilot, my friend.
yeah. Hopefully the quality keeps up with the rest of the series.
For sure, for sure. I'm gonna go ahead and let's look up Amy Adams. See what she's known for. Amy Adams is best known for being an Arrival. Oh, she's that girl. She was the lead female scientist in Arrival. Well, it's a shame she didn't win for Arrival. I guess that was 2016 though. Oh man, I love me some Arrival. Arrival is a great film. She's also known for being in Enchanted. It's a little whiles back. It's from 2007. And
Oh,
American
she's Lois
Hustle.
Lane. I haven't seen Justice League, but
Yeah, I was like, I almost don't want to. It's almost an embarrassment. You really want to say that you're Lois Lane in Justice League? I mean, it seemed like a good idea probably when she took it.
I mean, it's
Now that
probably better. I was gonna say it's probably better than her saying that she played Lois Lane in Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice.
I mean that is correct, but we're just talking about levels of shit here. But yeah, good for her. I really liked her in Arrival. Now let's look up Marina. She is known for a bunch of Spanish movies that I can't pronounce. So, oh, there's a movie she was in called How to Break Up with Your Douchebag. What a name.
Is it the literal douchebag or is it the figurative douchebag?
Let's see. We also have Regina King. She's famous for, of course, being in Ray, Miss Congeniality 2, Enemy of the State. Wow, with Will Smith. And something called A Cinderella Story.
Cinderella story. Okay, who did she play in that?
Rhonda.
Hmm.
I mean,
Man,
you'll know Cinderella Story because it has Hilary Duff in it, but yes, she was
oh, I think of
Hilary
a different
Duff's.
movie.
Yes, yes, you are. Cinderella Story is like a high school story about, the Cinderella story taking place in high school with Hilary Duff.
Hmm. What movie am I thinking of?
But yeah, Regina King.
Cinderella Baby. Is that what it's called? That movie.
Emma Stone. Ooh, she is known for a lot of things. She was in La La Land recently. She was in Birdman. I love that movie, Birdman. I don't think anybody gives Birdman enough credit. Birdman is a cinematic masterpiece. Um,
Yeah, I hate to be this guy. I still have not seen that movie despite the good things I've heard about it.
yeah. Oh, she was in Zombieland too. But yeah, go check out Birdman. Zombieland is also a great film. They're gonna make a Zombieland 2. I cannot wait. Called Zombieland Double Tap. Should be coming out this year. And then we were talking about Rachel Weisz. She's obviously from the Mummy series.
Much else that I saw.
She was also in Lobster. And yeah, I'll be honest, she's been in a bunch of stuff, just things that we don't recognize. So at least she kept on trucking. But Regina King ends up winning it in Best Actress in Supporting Role. I was actually going to recommend Jennifer Jason Leigh from Annihilation. He plays a secondary character who's a psychiatrist who's choosing to go into this anomaly in Annihilation. And everybody's basically got one thing on their mind. Why does a psychiatrist choose to go into a place knowing that they're going to die? I mean, that's some deep level of mental stuff. I mean, your job is to understand your own mindset, basically giving up on your mindset and giving up on life. But she plays it very convincingly.
Hmm.
And next up, we have original screenplay. So, for original screenplay, we have The Favorite, First Reformed, Green Book, Roma, and Vice. Seeing a lot of repeating names.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Only newcomer here is First Reformed, which let me look this up real quick and see what this is about. I'm sure it's gonna be. Oh, what? A minister of a small congregation in upstate New York grapples with mounting despair brought on by tragedy, worldly concerns, and a tormented past.
Yeah. All right then. I think The Favorite is about a boxing movie.
What? No, no, that's the Queen Anne movie. The one with Queen Anne having a new servant come
oh.
and getting close to Lady Sarah. It's the one the person in chat recommended.
Oh, okay. I wonder if I put up the wrong image or if I'm just thinking of something else. Yeah, I put up the wrong image. That's why. Yeah. I put up The Favorite, which is Favorite, instead of.
Oh,
Yeah. So it's
that's a big mistake.
well, I mean, they're both 2018 films. It's just Favorite spelled differently.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, the other one's a boxing film.
Those British people misspelling favorite
You know, it's
or
us.
favor.
Yeah. But my mistake. Everybody can point and laugh at that in the comments. But yeah, all the other films we've basically talked about. Vice being the Dick Cheney film, Roma being the Mexico City film, Green Book being the pianist film. We just talked about First Reformed, and Favorite being the period piece. We haven't seen any of these films and don't really know much else about them.
Except for Green Book.
Yeah, in terms of original screenplays, I was actually going to recommend Game Night. If you haven't seen that film, check that out. That's a great comedy. It's definitely an original screenplay. But as far as I know, Green Book ends up winning it all.
Yep.
They get the Oscar for original screenplay. Good for them. All good, valid nominees. Do you have a personal recommendation for original screenplay? I know it's a little bit hard to find something that's not based off of something else.
I'm gonna have to go with Captain Murray and the Chocolate Factory. it's really a reimagining of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It doesn't exist, but it's going to star Bill Murray.
You're the worst.
I know.
All right, moving on to adapted screenplays. For adapted screenplays, we have The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, Black Klansman, Can You Ever Forgive Me, If Beale Street Could Talk, and A Star Is Born. I have no idea what The Ballad of Buster Scruggs is.
Buster.
The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, yeah, I've got no
Yeah.
idea what that is.
It's a number of vignettes based in the South, and Buster Scruggs is like this bard who is, a badass, and each vignette is actually its own separate thing. So it starts with the story about Buster Scruggs, and then it continues from there. I've only seen the first one because Calabash and I were watching it, and then got interrupted because the TV in here is really bad about getting internet reception.
Cool
So
life story.
yeah, Netflix was being awful, and then he watched the rest of it without me.
I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah.
The Ballad of Buster Scruggs is about 6 tales of life and violence in the Old West, following a singing gunslinger, a bank robber, a traveling impersonero, an elderly prospector, a wagon train, and a perverse pair of bounty hunters. Yeah, that actually sounds interesting.
I mean, I enjoyed the first six of it that I watched.
But we already talked about Black Klansman. We already talked about Can You Ever Forgive Me? We already talked about A Star Is Born. Let me look up this last one quick. This Beale Street. A woman in Harlem embraces her pregnancy while she and her family struggle to prove her fiance innocent of a crime. Interesting. So, film about struggling in Harlem. People accusing them of crimes they haven't committed. Got a bunch of people I don't recognize. But yeah. Long story short, Black Klansman ends up winning adapted screenplay.
Hey, so
Good for them.
yeah.
One more win for Spike Lee. Me personally, I would have put Avengers on there. I'm not sure why that's not on there as adapted screenplay. Right?
Because I feel like if you're going to throw Avengers up there, you would throw Black Panther up there first.
Yeah, but I'm more impressed with Avengers than I am with Black Panther. So that's why I'm voting for Avengers. I'm just surprised, none of them made it up there. I guess they don't care about comic book movies. But, let's keep on going and make our way to the foreign language films, which is something we will know even less about. The foreign language films were Capernaum from Lebanon, Cold War from Poland, Never Look Away from Germany, Roma from Mexico, Shoplifters from Japan. Do you know anything?
Just from the name, I know Shoplifters actually sounds interesting to me. I'm going to go ahead and IMDb that real quick and see what I can find out.
The poster actually kind of made it look interesting. But Japanese people, they know how to clickbait you. They know what it's about.
A family of small-time crooks take in a child they find outside in the cold.
That doesn't really sell me. Capernaum is about someone serving a 5-year sentence for a violent crime. 12-year-old boy sues his parents for neglect. What? While serving a 5-year sentence for a violent crime, a 12-year-old boy sues his parents for neglect. That is a weird film.
Yeah. So Never Look Away, German artist Kurt Barnett has escaped East Germany and now lives in West Germany, but is tormented by his childhood under the Nazis and the GDR regime.
Yeah. Cold War is in the 1950s. A music director falls in love with a singer and tries to persuade her to flee communist Poland for France. Again, that is a very specific period piece.
Yeah.
I already talked about Roma,
We
but
did.
well, we talked about how it's in Mexico City and it's about a maid.
Oh, I didn't know it was about a maid. I just knew it was about a family and their year.
Yeah, it says a year in the life of a middle class family's maid in Mexico City in the early 1970s.
Oh, it's literally just their maid. Okay, I missed that when you originally described it, and when I watched the trailer.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, Roma ends up taking it away for the Oscars for foreign language film. Just
Yeah, I've heard.
from reading these, I think Shoplifters, the poster is kind of interesting, but not the description. None of the descriptions really entice me at all.
One moment, please. I apologize. Calabash was knocking on my door.
What a dick.
Yes.
Well, our next one up is animated films. For animated films, we have Incredibles 2.
Is this our first sequel that we've seen on this Oscars?
I think so.
Way to go,
Um,
Incredibles.
yeah. Incredibles 2, Island of Dogs, Mariah, Ralph Breaks the Internet, which is technically a sequel too, I guess,
Oh
and,
yeah, I forgot about that.
and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Well, I've obviously never seen any of the Ralph movies because I didn't realize that that was a sequel. I
Um,
mean, I'd heard of the first one, but I completely forgot it.
yeah, Incredibles, the first one and the second one are great films. The second one has just as much comedy and just as much, honestly, I just say they really put like their love into that movie. Like you can tell they care. The animation's like top notch quality. It's a laugh out loud experience. You have lots of fun watching it. They really spend their money's worth for that animation. And I've not seen Isle of Dogs. I've heard a lot of people talk about Isle of Dogs though. The animation really kind of throws me off. I don't want to say it's disturbing, but it doesn't look pleasing. Like it looks down and dreary. But I know that cat people end up turning out to be the bad guys. So I've heard like a bunch of people talk about that movie in terms of like, why is it always got to be cats versus dogs, kind of thing. Even in that movie, they got to pin the two against each other.
Oh, it's literally stop motion action figures of dogs and people. That's creepy heck.
Yeah, it's and like the color palette, it's just everything about it. It's meant to look downright depressing, basically. It's meant to be like a tear jerking experience about you seeing dogs being, abused. Um, Mariah is a Japanese film about time travel. That's all I know about it. It's an anime. Ralph Breaks the Internet, I know, is a sequel. Ralph is back. He's been in a couple of the other. I'm trying to think of what that original movie's from. With
Wreck
the
It Ralph.
yeah, Wreck It Ralph. Um, but yeah, he's a fun character. The other characters in his universe are nice as well. they're definitely pinpointing that towards the millennium audience that grew up with, video games, the internet, and stuff like that. Um, I say that you're going to have kids that will be interested in seeing that film, not only just, you as an adult, 25, 30 years old. I watched the trailer. I thought about downloading the film. I haven't done it yet, but I'm sure I'll eventually see it. I did watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and oh my goodness, I cannot say enough good things about this movie.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I've heard a lot of them, and I really want to see it. I just
they're all true, all of it. It's all true, all of it.
so I'm gathering that there was a clear winner in this category.
Oh, far, 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 far. Um,
Ralph breaks the internet. Got
no, Ralph does not end up breaking the internet, and
it, or the
Spider-Man,
Oscars.
no, or the Oscars. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, though, not only changes the name of the game in animation and in cinema and in Spider-Man, but in the fucking Oscars animated featurette as well. For the first time in, I want to say it was like 10 plus years, Disney did not win the animated feature category. That's kind of
Wow.
astonishing. No Pixar, no Disney, none of that. I don't remember who made Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. We'll have to look it up.
It was Sony.
But dude, like I cannot say enough about not only how good the animation is, like what it looks like and how good it feels, but just everything that they chose, every aspect, every character, every action, like it's all great. It's all beautiful. It's all just like holy shit, these people care. They really tried and the result is phenomenal. I caught myself being giddy like a schoolgirl on like two or three occasions about characters that I know nothing about. I was just thoroughly impressed by how they are represented, what happened in the film. I cannot say enough good things about this movie. Screw all the other Spider-Man movies. Just go watch this film. You'll understand what I'm talking about. You will delete all the other Spider-Man films in your mind, and you'll just want to watch this one over and over again. It really changes the way you think about films. Really changes the way you think about animation. They just do an absolute wonderful job at not only introducing this Spider-Man, but all the other Spider-Mans from the other universes that also appear in this film. Um, there's just to like dive into a little bit about it. Like there's
Hey! I'm gonna close my things, my earbuds here, just to have it as a surprise. And then when you're done, message me in Steam.
no, it's fine. Never mind then. We'll move on past that.
Sorry about that. I want to see it, but I kind of want some of it to be a surprise.
No, it's fine. We could just go ahead and move on. You can see the film, and I won't spoil it.
Cool. Thank you.
But yeah, great stuff about Spider-Man. It definitely deserves the Oscar for animated film. But yeah, our next category, which is basically everything else, we'll start out with sound editing. Sound editing had Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, First Man, A Quiet Place, and Roma. What films have you seen out of these?
Only Black Panther.
Well, I have seen Black Panther, I've seen Bohemian Rhapsody, and I've seen A Quiet Place. I already talked about Roma. That was the movie about the maid being in Mexico City in the 1970s. I'm gonna look up First Man real quick. I thought it was a space movie.
It is. It's about Neil Armstrong and the moon mission.
Okay, yeah, it's got Ryan Gosling in it. Recognize that. Um, A Quiet Place is just basically about a science fiction post apocalyptic dystopia universe in which there's creatures running around And if you make a sound, they're going to kill you, they're going to eat you. So in this film, the family has to learn to be absolutely quiet. If they make a noise, the creature is basically going to eat them. So it's about a film in which there's very little noise, and everybody's basically using like sign language and gestures and stuff like that in order to communicate things. And just the mere idea of making a sound basically threatens your own survival.
Now, is
Um,
that the Jordan Peele film? Did he direct that?
no, you're thinking. I think you're thinking of the horror movie, a different horror movie,
Okay.
which was like Get Out. I think is what
Okay,
you're
yeah,
thinking
that
of.
sounds right.
Yeah, but yeah, A Quiet Place. It's not. I was gonna say it's not like an end all be all film. It's just very different, and I could see why they would recommend it for sound editing because it uses the sound very cleverly. It's got trying to think of this guy's name, John Krasinski in it. He's known from being Jim from The Office. It's definitely a completely different role for him, which it's a very serious role, and um, he's in a horror movie instead of being in a comedy office sitcom environment. But Bohemian Rhapsody, obviously about Eddie Mercury and the band coming together after the breakup in order to make Bohemian Rhapsody. It's recommended for sound editing for obvious reasons, because the Queen music.
Yep.
Black Panther had a lot of original soundtracks, a lot of epic fights. It's also why it's recommended. But Bohemian Rhapsody ends up winning it all for sound editing. They win the Oscar. To be honest, I'm not sure if I agree. Like I said, I thought the movie was like a solid 7 out of 10. Um, this might sound weird, but I think I would have given it to A Quiet Place. Like now that I think about it, like I know everybody loves Queen. I know everybody thinks they did a great job, and they melded some vocal cords together and made him really sound like the original singer. But now that I look at A Quiet Place, I'm like, they really created a different type of film by using that sound very cleverly. It's not an end all be all. It wasn't like 100% all the way through. But if you're just talking about for sound editing, like I really would have given it to A Quiet Place.
Well, yeah, that answers the question I was going to ask. I haven't really seen any of these movies outside of Black Panther, so I'm not really sure how that compares. But I mean, maybe some of the technology in Bohemian Rhapsody phenomenal, and maybe that's why it won. But yeah, I mean, I have no horse in this.
Yep. I was gonna say, for most of the rest of the categories, I'm gonna feel the same way. So we'll just go ahead and continue on, and we'll talk about visual effects. Avengers: Infinity War, Christopher Robin, First Man, Ready Player One, and Solo: A Star Wars Story. Which films of these have you seen?
Avengers: Infinity War, and no other movie.
Really? You have
Really,
you've never seen Ready Player One?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's weird because
I don't recall.
I remember us sitting down and watching it together.
Do you?
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably don't have any record of this.
No. Oh wait, we have an entire YouTube video that you can go to youtube.com/retro chronicled in order to check it out. Watch our commentary on it.
Okay, well, since you've caught me in my lie, yes, I have seen it, and I despise that movie.
Yeah, I can understand that. Avengers: Infinity War is up there for obvious reasons. Christopher Robin kind of weirds me out.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, is that Is that
It's exactly
really?
what you think it is.
And yeah,
It's uncomfortable to me. It's soiling my childhood. We already talked about First Man, um, Ready Player One. Um, is a story based off of a book in which, in the future, society kind of crumbles and everybody just wants to be in a virtual world so much that everybody's life basically depends on going into this virtual world. Go to school there, you do your jobs there, everything. Um, it's a long story. If you'd like to see the movie, it is one of those like popcorn flick. Sit back and just enjoy the ridiculousness of it. It's supposed to be an action adventure in a Spielberg esque manner. I think it did some good things, but it obviously gets a lot of things wrong. But I would agree with it being nominated for visual effects. Um, I'm glad to
yeah,
see Solo Star Wars Story made it up there as well. I feel like there's a lot of hate for that movie. I absolutely despise the vast majority of the Star Wars franchise, but I actually like Solo. So I'm glad Solo made it to the Oscars as a nominee.
yeah. I mean, I don't. Did Rogue get nominated for anything or any of the other recent Star Wars movies?
I have no idea, but
Oh no,
I'm glad that we don't know. But
I might be disconnected here shortly.
the First Man ends up winning it for visual effects, so good for them. I haven't checked out that movie, but I'm a sci-fi buff. I'll probably check it out. Ryan Gosling's a great actor, so we'll check that out. Our next category is film editing. So we've got Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, and Vice.
That sounds like the best picture nominee.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they're really starting to repeat this list a lot. We already talked about all these films. You've seen Green Book. I've seen Bohemian Rhapsody. Um, Not much else to say about it. I personally would have recommended Annihilation for film editing. Again, I'm not sure what the rules and standards are for stuff like that, but Annihilation was cut in a unique way in which you already know the ending. You're seeing a person that's already gone through an experience and they're retelling the tale. And even though it's set in that manner, you are still glued to the screen and concerned about whether or not this person is who they say they are. So it's a very clever way to edit the movie. It's a very clever way to set up that entire story. That is all based around editing. I'm not sure why Bohemian Rhapsody recommended for film editing.
I mean, I assume it's their melding of original footage with the old footage of actual events that happened.
I would have to guess so because um, just not sure what spectacular edit is in there. Unless again we're just talking about technical stuff that us scrubs wouldn't understand. But it does end up winning the Oscar for film editing. So Bohemian Rhapsody takes another Oscar away. I'm sure everyone involved in that movie is super proud. It does very, very well.
Yep, I think it's won 3 so far.
Um, I have not been keeping count, but that sounds about right. Moving on next to the next Oscar category is animated short. We have Animal Behavior, Bow, Late Afternoon, One Small Step, and Weekend.
Back to knowing nothing about the entrance in a category.
Um, I'm gonna double check this before I just put my foot into my mouth. But I want to say that I know what Bow is because I say that when I type it in. You know what? Will you type in bow on your end and tell me what pops up on International Movie Database?
A
Because I
Chinese Canadian woman suffering from empty nest syndrome gets a second shot at motherhood when one of her homemade dumplings come alive.
see, okay, when I type that in, I don't even know if I want to say it.
Okay, now you have built this up way too much to not say it, and I mean you can just bleep it out for
when
whenever you edit.
when I type it in, it pops up with 3D sex and Zen extreme ecstasy from 2011.
Oh, that's great.
It talks about a conceited scholar of the Ming Dynasty, Wei Yangsheng, believes that life believes that since life is short, one should pursue the ultimate sexual pleasure as time allows. It's a 2 hour and 9 minute erotic film from Hong Kong.
So what do you think the ultimate sex is? Or
I, you'll
just
have to watch
can you
that
find the
film.
ultimate pleasure?
You'll have to watch that film to find out. So that's what I was going to say. Is I wanted to say
It's anal pleasure.
I wanted to say that Bao was about dumplings because I had watched a Binging with Babish video in which he makes dumplings and refers to the movie Bao. But when I type it in an international movie database, the most awful things come up, nowhere on there. I don't know why it shows that. I'm not entering it in. I'm just typing it in. Like when I type it in, it pops up under like I also get Cold Pursuit, Revenge, Robin B. Hood, The Looming Storm, Fan Wong, Beyblade Bust. But then when I type it in and search for it, it actually comes up with Bow 2018, Bow 1997.
So pull up the. I mean, I assume that you just have looked at a lot of porn, and so Google's giving you a hand there. Look on the IMDb page, and at the bottom there are images of this. Look at some of those screenshots. I have to say I'm a fan of this animation. It's
Yeah, it looks really good. But yeah, Bao ends up winning it for animated short. They look like they make delicious food, and you can check out Binging with Babish's video if you want to learn how to make steamed dumplings just like them. But next category is live action short with a bunch of other movies we have not seen. Detainment, Suave,
whoa.
Marginette, Marguerite, Mother, and Skin.
Margarita.
Um, say that I've heard of Mother, but I don't think it's the one I'm thinking of. What, when I type it in, IMDb is just giving me How I Met Your Mother. No, see, it's a different one. The Mother with an Explanation Mark came out in 2017. That's with Jennifer Lawrence. That was like a religious film. That was not a short. But yeah, we know nothing about any of these live action shorts. Have not seen them. We did not watch them. We cannot recommend them.
So I'm looking for Skin, and I found a 2018 biography drama called Skin, but it's 2 hours long.
That's one hell of a short.
Yeah,
You.
this can't be the same Skin.
I mean, honestly, I'd be surprised if they're on there since they're shorts.
Here's another one. Okay, 20 minutes. This has got to be it. Short drama. A small supermarket in a blue collar town. A black man smiles at a 10-year-old white boy across the checkout aisle. This innocuous moment sends two gangs into a ruthless war that ends with a shocking backlash.
Yep.
Huh.
I don't know. I don't even know where you'd check out these live action shorts. I don't know if it's something that would just like play before a movie in terms of bow. You had to go to a special theater, be invited somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, tried to look up one or two movies on YouTube to see if that's how you could get them, and I couldn't find anything. Maybe I need to try a little bit harder.
Yeah.
But I assume, I don't know, there's got to be somewhere you can purchase them or something.
But Skin ends up winning the Oscar for live action shorts. Congratulations to them. We have no idea how to see your movie. Next up is documentary shorts. Black Sheep, In Game, Lifeboat, A Night at the Garden, Period, End of Sentence. That's the movie. That's the last nominee. Same thing. I haven't heard of any of these shorts. I haven't any idea where you could go see them or where you could go watch them. I assume they would play at a festival or in between other films.
I've actually seen Black Sheep. I'm surprised that it's here as a short.
That's
I mean,
obviously not the same movie.
with Chris Farley.
It's obviously not the one they're recommending.
I did look up period end of sentence, and it is a movie about a like in India and them giving education about periods, feminism, things like that. And basically, a group of Indian women have gotten technology, the ability to make pads very cheaply and get them to people that need them, and that weren't even aware they existed because of where they live in India.
Wow.
And so, like in the preview, it's like them asking different people, "Do you know what a period is? Do you know what this is?" And they're holding a pad out, and it's all these people have no idea what what basic hygiene is.
Well, that sounds like a fun and enlightening film. You want to check out that short? I looked up A Night at the Garden. Looks like it's archival footage of a Nazi rally from 1939.
Wow.
Not really sure what to say about these shorts.
Doesn't Endgame come out next year? But
Yeah. Of course, they're referring to a different.
Yes, it's filmed and edited in wow, Verite style, Verite. I'm butchering that word. I know I am. There's two accents. This movie follows visionary medical practitioners who are working on the cutting edge of life and death and are dedicated to changing our thinking about both.
So, this one's called Lifeboat. A woman on a romantic sailing holiday with her boyfriend rescues a refugee woman who makes her confront her past. I want to say there was a similar movie that came out, but it was a full-fledged movie. It wasn't a short, where it was about a woman going on a sailboat with her boyfriend, and then like her boyfriend getting like knocked out or drowning or something, and so she's stuck on a sailboat and she doesn't know how to sail, and like they've gone through like a really bad storm, and she doesn't know like what to do because she's not a sailor. And I was like, that's actually like a legitimately horrifying experience. Because it's like, what would you even begin to do? Like you don't know anything about repairing the sails, turning the engines, like doing any of that. I think her boyfriend's like incapacitated or something. But that seems like a cool like survival premises idea. But that documentary that you mentioned, period, end of sentence, ends up being so important and such a powerful film that it wins the Oscar. I can only imagine watching that short, just kind of having to sigh and nod my head and realize that there's a lot of people that just don't have the proper education or the proper things that they need. I know once upon a time, India even tried to tax sanitary supplies. People obviously threw a fit over that. It's like one of the number one things they're behind over there. But they make up for it for a lot of other things, including their space program. Moving on to original score, we've got Black Panther, Black Klansman, If Beale Street Could Talk, Isle of Dogs, and I kid you not, Mary Poppin Returns.
I didn't even know that was a thing that came out this year.
I had no idea either. That is news to me. So we've already talked about Black
Yes.
Panther, Black Klansman, and If Beale Street Could Talk, and Isle of Dogs. Let's talk about Mary Poppins Returns.
So does it have Dick Van Dyke in it with a terrible accent, or is it
Man,
Jerry Van Dyke or Dick?
no, I think it's Dick Van Dyke. I think that's right. Um, I actually watched him talking about that and him saying that a bunch of people do talk about how awful his accent is, but he agrees that it was bad, just not as bad as what people want to say it is. When you watch that film, it is absolutely hysterical as an adult, because as a kid, I thought nothing of it, but it's almost to the point of being offensive. But
All right, yeah, Dick Van Dyke is in it.
wow,
Doesn't seem to be a major role, but
yeah, he pops up just to do the Stan Lee thing, you know. Decades after her original visit, the magical nanny returns to help the Banks siblings and Michael's children through a difficult time in their lives. That's crazy. So it's supposed to be the same Mary Poppins.
huh?
I
Huh?
mean, it's a sequel, so I guess it has to be, right? So it's like it's like the nanny who took care of them is now coming back 20 plus years later when they have children to then take care of their children.
Yes, I have not aged a day because I am magical. I'm a witch. You
Yeah,
should suffer this witch.
you saw the stuff she pulled out of her bag. I mean, it's unprecedented. She's clearly a witch. We would have burned her at the stake.
Emily Blunt, I'm on to you.
um, oh man, I'm trying to remember the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy where they tell him he looks like Mary Poppins.
I don't remember what
It's
this was. It's not Drax, is it?
no, it's the guy with the flute, the or not the flute, the arrow with the
Oh,
mohawk. Yondu.
yes, Yondu.
Yeah, he's like, I'm Mary Poppins, bitch. Like that's beautiful. That's wonderful. But Black Panther ends up taking the Oscar for original score. I have not seen the movie since watching it in the theaters. I do remember watching it and being absolutely amazed by the stuff that occurred in the film. Um, I really feel like the antagonist, I want to say his name is Michael B. Jordan,
Yeah.
really should have got like way more credit. He sold that movie to me, man. Like I really enjoyed him as the antagonist. It was an understandable bad guy. He wasn't evil for the sake of being evil. Like you really felt like what he was going through and like what had happened and how he got to that point in his life and how he felt it was acceptable to do what he was doing.
Yeah, I mean, they did that really well. And I mean, even the whole them getting, at least this is what stuck out in my head, them getting, somebody stabbing you in the chest and pulling it out and you almost instantly dying. So you have to keep the thing in so you don't bleed out. Usually
Yeah.
they do a really bad job about, having that track.
Life
And
lessons
they
from
act,
Steve Irwin. Keep it in the chest, don't pull it out.
yeah, but they actually did it this time. Or, well, in Black Panther, like, oh,
Yep.
he pulled it out and, oh, good night.
Yep, done very well, very well. But congratulations to them for winning an Oscar.
Oh, another one.
Yeah, another one.
Or wait, is this it? No, no, this is their first. My bad.
Okay. Original song, All the Stars from Black Panther, I'll Fight from RBG, The Place Where Lost Things Go from Mary Poppins Returns, Shallow from A Star Is Born, and When a Cowboy Trades His Spurs for Wings from The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
I've only heard one of these songs,
Um,
and that I can actually, say anything about it.
yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I watched Black Panther, so I assume I've heard all the stars.
I don't remember it though, but when a cowboy trades his spurs for rings, I definitely saw that in the first sixth of the Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Um, that just sounds like an enchanting title. I like the title. Unfortunately, it's not the title that wins it all. Shallow, A Star Is Born from A Star Is Born ends up winning it. So I guess they got some good old country music to win the hearts of those Oscar employees.
Well, I mean, it is a Lady Gaga song, I assume, because
Oh,
yeah,
that's
I have to assume
right.
she's singing it.
Yeah, that's right. I had forgotten it's the Lady Gaga movie.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and
So
just skip over the fact that Lady Gaga is helping people to win Oscars now, and move on
Bradley
to.
Cooper, Bradley Cooper.
I mean, he deserves an Oscar.
Yeah,
Lady
he's
Gaga. I mean, that's like unacceptable. Moving on to production design. We've got Black Panther, The Favorite, First Man, Mary Poppins, and Roma. Yeah, we've talked about all these films. Black Panther was awesome. I can definitely see why they're recommended for production design.
yep.
I kind of contemplate how much of that is CGI and where they split the idea between what is production design and what is like CGI nonsense, but I guess
Yeah,
it's up to them.
honestly, if you had a battery strapped to my balls and you were asking me what the fuck is production design, I would have electrocuted balls right now.
I mean, just, the stuff that you see that's produced on set, you know? They produce the scene, whether it's
Okay.
the background for the mythical city of I don't remember what their mythical city is called.
Wakanda?
Yeah, Wakanda. Like all that stuff had to be produced. So
Okay.
that's all the production design. Um, some of that's obviously CGI, some of it's stuff that they're wearing, some of it's stuff they're interacting with. Um, it's essentially world building. But yeah, Black Panther did such a good job. They win another Oscar for production design. And I gotta say, I completely agree. Granted, I didn't see the other movies. I just can confidently say that I was impressed by Black Panther. You can really tell everyone was giving it their all in that movie. Um, I might just need to go rewatch it now that we've talked about it so many times.
Yeah, I mean, you always, I don't know, you can find that you enjoy something more on a rewatch.
Yeah. We'll continue on to cinematography, and we've got Cold War from Lucas Zoll, The Favorite from Robbie Ryan, Never Look Away from Caleb Deschanel, Roma from Alfonso Cuarón, and A Star Is Born from Matthew Libatique. I assume those are all the independent cinematographers that were on for those individual films. Um, I guess we've talked about these films. What was Never Look Away?
Never Look Away was the one about the German artist who had escaped East Germany and now lives in West Germany, but he's tormented by his childhood
Oh, okay.
under the Nazi.
More Nazi stuff.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I haven't seen any of these films. I would have recommended Annihilation. Like I said, I don't know how the Academy rules work, but you can see that I obviously love Annihilation. There are some absolutely amazing scenes in Annihilation that drove me bonkers thinking about how they got it done. Whether or not it was composite, real, CGI, mix of all of the above. Um, they just, it's such a, it like tingles all my artsy fartsy stuff and my um, need for philosophy and like deeper understanding. It's just a great film. And all of that is presented to you by the cinematographer, showing you where to look, what's important, whole spiel. But Roma, I say Roma, Alphonse Cuarón from Roma. He ends up winning it for his work on Roma. Congratulations to him.
Isn't this his personal like second Oscar?
I'm not sure. Haven't been keeping track.
Yes, he won director as well.
Oh, well, congratulations to him. He definitely seems to put a lot of work in, and it's paid off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to think maybe this Roma movie definitely need to check it out. But it's on Netflix, so it was like straight to Netflix release wise. Like it released had a limited release and then went to Netflix a couple like either a couple months or a few weeks later.
Yep. I was gonna say if he hadn't put it in theaters, I think the rule is that you can't be recommended for it. You haven't put it in theaters, so
That makes sense.
that's actually why a lot of movies don't make it, is because they're direct to digital distributions. Um, but let's move on to the next one, and it's costume design. We've got The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, Black Panther, Favorite, and Mary Poppins Return.
We wouldn't want to forget Mary Queen of Scots.
Oh, I didn't scroll down to the next page. It overlapped. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and actually look up, since that's
I've
the
already done so. Mary Stuart's attempt to overthrow her cousin Elizabeth I, Queen of England, finds her condemned to years of imprisonment before facing execution.
oh my. Um,
There is also a Mary Queen of Scots, which is seems like it may be the same thing in 2013 and then 1940.
yeah, that's not bad. Another period movie, basically a remake. But
Yeah, I mean, basically all of these are period movies outside of Mary Poppins Returns. Poppins Returns, obviously, and well, I guess Black Panther is a period piece.
I was gonna say it seems like a lot of them are remakes or adapted screenplays. They've definitely ran out of unique ideas. But yeah, Black Panther ends up winning it for costume design. You watch,
Well deserved.
yeah, I was gonna say if you watch Black Panther, you can definitely look at their costumes and say, "Wow, it's pretty impressive." You've definitely came up with a unique sense of style and culture for Wakanda. So congratulations on their costume design. I'm kind of I'm kind of scratching my head that it's not like a person though. Um, that it's just like the movie. I assume they have a costume design artist, but maybe there's like multiple artists working on it. But
That's what I presume.
you'd think one person that would get the head, be the credit, get the Oscar. But it's the movie. So congratulations on winning another Oscar, Black Panther.
That's number two.
And we'll go ahead and go to makeup and hairstyling. This is a very small category with a very few nominees. Just got three. One is Border, two is Mary Queen of Scots, and last but not least is Ice. Um, we just talked about Mary Queen of Scots. We know Vice is the Dick Cheney movie. Go ahead and talk to us about Border.
A customs officer who can smell fear develops an unusual attraction to a strange traveler while aiding a police investigation which will call into question her entire existence.
Interesting. Um, yeah, it's a very different type of movie. I was gonna say Vice used a heavy amount of makeup in order to make Christian Bale look like Dick Cheney. So you can imagine that that is why they end up being the winner. So they run away with an Oscar because they made the handsome Christian Bale look like the fugly Dick Cheney. Congratulations, whoever you are out there, you're doing God's work.
You can make a god into a troll.
Yep. Next up is documentary feature. This is going to be another category that we know next to nothing about.
Well, I recognize this first one, Free Solo. Isn't that the movie about freeing Han Solo about from Carbonite?
I have no idea.
I
I assume
yeah.
I assume not. I assume that because it says documentary and Han Solo is a fictional character, that none of those things are true. There's also there's Free Solo, there's Hale County this morning, this evening. There's Minding the Gap. There's Of Fathers and Sons, and there's RBG.
So Free Solo is follows Alex Honnold as he becomes the first person to ever free solo climb Yosemite's 3,000-foot high El Capitan wall. With no ropes or safety gear, he completed arguably the greatest feat in rock climbing history.
I actually watched that. I just didn't realize it was called Free Solo.
Oh, okay. How was it?
Um, it was more interesting to see how they recorded him doing it than it was to see him actually doing it.
Oh,
Because I mean, it's a man climbing rocks. Like, what are you gonna get out of it? You know, he goes from the bottom and he goes to the top. It's impressive because he does it freehand. You know, he's not using any safety hooks or anything else. But what's more impressive is that they had to send for photographers and video experts and cinematographers all over the world to see who had high enough qualifications in rock climbing so that they actually could get the video footage of him scaling this entire cliffside freehand. So it's kind of more impressive the technical aspect of them trying to record it because of what they had to do, how they had to set up their cameraman, and how those cameramen also had to be expert climbers who are carrying like, 200 pounds of equipment versus the guy who's just like, yeah, I stick my hands in rocks.
hmm
I mean, it's still impressive what he does. And if you watch, you'll see stuff that you're just like, I never knew that's how they rock climb, where they'll get to a part where they talk about it's like 1/10 of an inch or something of finger space. And it's just the friction of himself and the weight of himself at that angle holding him onto that mountainside. Um, if he messed up, he would fall to his death instantaneously. But he's a pro climber, so he doesn't mess up. And in like 2 hours, he like scales the thing.
Wow.
And he does it so fast, it actually fucks up the photographers. And he has to tell the photographers and the video people to get out of his way because they're like crossing paths, and the photographers and video people are like above him, and he's just like ramping up, like hauling ass, and they're like trying to haul this equipment and like stop and record, and he's like, "Get out of my way."
That's amazing.
Yeah,
So I've got the rest of these queued up if you want me to read through them.
yeah. Go ahead.
Hell County this morning, this evening is a kaleidoscopic and humanistic view of the black community in Hell County, Alabama. Minding the Gap, three young men bond together to escape volatile families in their Rust Belt hometown. As they face adult responsibilities, unexpected revelations threaten their decade-long friendship. And the theming here is skateboards. It looks like they're all skateboards. Fathers and Sons, chronicling the history of his family from 1787 to now while looking for the answers to some buried secrets regarding certain relatives. Roger Dush, or Roger Dush, Dutch, Deutsch, the boy on the train, soothingly voices over his latest effort. Well, this is just long. Oh, which takes the viewer on an engaging personal journey from Hungary to America and back via beautiful vintage photographs, grainy home photos that often look better than professional and persistently stand the test of time, as well as his own impressionistic footage with the unique and experience enhanced by excellent musical choices. So, yeah, it's just him chronicling his family.
Interesting.
RBG, the exceptional life and career of U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who has developed a breathtaking legal legacy while becoming an unexpected pop culture icon. I didn't realize that was a thing.
Yeah, she's a woman's right advocate who won a
Well,
bunch of court cases.
yeah, well, I mean, I know who she is. She's Supreme Court Justice. I just didn't realize they made the movie about her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I assume it's about her work prior to being the Supreme Court justice.
Yes, his life and career.
Yeah. Um, I was gonna say I wikied her real quick, and it was talking about like in the 1970s, her winning like 5 of 6 discrimination lawsuits on behalf of women, and it's just like, oh shit.
Oh, okay. So the winner for documentary short or feature.
Yeah, that's terrible. Don't do that.
Okay, it's Free Solo.
Well, congratulations, Free Solo. Like I said, it's actually super interesting to see all of the effort that they had to put into trying to record what he was doing. I just think you would have to be like a super rock climbing nerd to actually care about him doing it, rock climbing free without safety harnesses or anything.
Right.
So again, you're just watching a guy climb a cliff and it takes like 2 hours. So
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of my problem with documentaries from time to time. Is if I mean I might hear a good one's really good, but it just doesn't interest me. Like the subject is just not something that
yeah,
you know.
I totally get what you mean. That's what I was saying is, maybe you can watch it for a different perspective. I definitely watched it from the perspective of I cannot believe how much effort they had to put in order to try to video this. Um, I mean, they had to plot things like 6 months ahead of time just so they could figure out like camera angles. It's ridiculous. But yeah, congratulations on Free Solo. I think you can go check out um, like behind the scenes footage of them on YouTube. I'm not sure where you can find the actual documentary. Same thing with the shorts. No idea where you can find them. But last but not least is the sound mixing nominees. We've got Black Panther. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying all the DJs.
Yeah, yeah, for real. Pretty much. We've got Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, First Man, Roma, and A Star Is Born. We've pretty much talked at length about all these movies, whether we've seen them or not, what we know about them. Um, like I said, Black Panther, it's got some good original scores. Bohemian Rhapsody is renowned, obviously, for the Queen music, the technology they used in order to blend the vocals. And I'm guessing that's why it wins the Oscar for sound mixing. I cannot verify or, really elaborate on how close he sounds like to the original singer, being Freddie Mercury. But, with all these Oscars, I guess, color me impressed. Bohemian Rhapsody takes another one that's justly deserved.
Which brings it up to 4, which was the big winner this Oscar. Black Panther, at its heels with 3 itself, which is the first 3 from Marvel Studios as well.
Yep. That's pretty impressive.
I think I was look. Roma got, I think, three. Yeah, I mean, three maybe.
But that's it for our Oscars discussion. Is there any movies that you would like to recommend that did not make it into the Oscar category for 2018?
Honestly, I don't. Like I said, I realized going through this that I just have not seen a lot of new movies this year. So this
Uh,
is going to be my guide of, hey, here's the culture from 2018 that I might need to check out.
yep, yep. I'll basically reiterate that I thoroughly enjoyed the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse animated movie. I'm pretty sure that's still out. If not, you can check it out from all of your local pirated facilities online. And I highly recommend seeing Annihilation. It's a horror movie with Natalie Portman. You will not be disappointed. You will be confused, and you will learn to love that movie. But
I mean, I do want to recommend Green Book again, just because it was a really good movie. I know I didn't talk about it a lot, but I don't want to really spoil anything. Um, it is a really good look at class warfare, especially at that time, class and race warfare. So,
yep. This has been our Oscars discussion. You are watching the Retro Chronicled. I am Astrid Aphid, and I am joined by my co-host.
I was retconned.
And thank you very much. Have a great night.
Yep. Have a wonderful night.